Okay. Hi, everyone. My name's Tara Carpenter, and I am the implementation manager for the Palace Project app. And I thank you for joining us today here. We're going to do a lunch and learn talking about the Palace app. I'm also joined by Jill Scarson, my colleague, who is our partner success leader. And Jill, usually how this works is I am the person who gets libraries implemented. I handle kind of the tech issues. Jill is the person who helps with marketing, training resources, things like that. So once the libraries are live in the app, Jill comes in to help. In your case, all of you are sharing a virtual library card instance in the app paid for by New Mexico State Library. So we're going to kind of talk about what that means here. I'm going to go through some slides. Then I will do a brief app demo. And like I said, as we go, please let me know if you have questions. So first, we'll start with our slides. Okay. Slideshow. Okay. All right. Hopefully everyone can see this. And we'll go ahead and get started. So we're doing a lunch. Thank you. I saw a thumb up. All right. So we're doing a lunch and learn. Here's what we're going to talk about today in general. What is the Palace Project? How to talk about the Palace Project, virtual library cards, the shared content and curated lanes. We'll do the app demo, and then we'll share some support resources, and then we'll have time for Q&A. All right, so first up, what is the Palace Project? It's a suite of software, it's open source, and it's brought to you by a company called Lyrasis. And our piece of Lyrasis is called the Palace Project, and it includes a few different things. The app itself, and it's a reading app that aggregates most of your digital content in one place. It's the Palace Collection Manager, which is the administrative backend portal. In your case, the New Mexico State Library handles this for your libraries, but that's that place where usage data and also curation happens. So when I show you later the custom lists and lanes, which are like featured carousels of content in the app, that's kind of where they're generated. So if you have ideas for that, we're always open. You can share them with our team and we can go ahead and make those for you. And really that's just to kind of help with engagement and feature content that's interesting or important to your patrons. Okay, next up on the Palace Marketplace. So this is a nonprofit marketplace for ebooks and audiobooks. So the New Mexico State Library, again, has purchased content from there for your libraries. And a lot of favorable licensing terms available for libraries to buy content there. There's the Palace Bookshelf, which is open content available for all libraries in Palace. That's going to be, public domain titles, open access titles, all of those kind of classics that you don't need to buy, if you're having book clubs, schools are reading it. So that's a really great resource to have a lot of that stuff available for free. It's curated by the Digital Public Library of America's volunteer curation corps of librarians. So just know the content is vetted, someone's looking at it and approving it before it's added to that open bookshelf. And finally, the virtual library card. So that's what all of your libraries have access to in Palace. This is separate from your local library card. And so basically that's something we'll talk about in a minute, but when they log into Palace, every user will go ahead and make their own virtual card, and that's how they will access this digital content. Okay, next up. So these are our talking points. This is kind of like the big picture about Palace. If you don't know anything, this is probably a good place to start with understanding it. And then I'll talk more about how you can then in turn talk to patrons at your library about Palace. But these are like the big things we want to stress. We have multiple content sources in one app. So this is how you can access more of the library's ebooks and audiobooks in one place. In your instance, there's content from BiblioBoard, which is all simultaneous perpetual use. There's Palace Marketplace content, which is licensed content. And then there's that Palace Bookshelf open content. So all of that is kind of aggregated together in this one app for your users to access. We have unique content and innovative partnerships and options to provide community-provided and library-driven content. It's designed for discovery, which means Palace prioritizes available and relevant titles to increase discovery. And basically that just means that when I configure the app, I always set it to default to show users what's available now. So if you are browsing or any patron is browsing, they're just going to see available things that are available to check out in the moment. And if there's something they're searching for, you can always search for something specific that might have a hold list and they can place it on hold. but we won't raise that in a browse. So really, we're trying to make sure everyone who comes into the app can find something to check out right now today. And accessibility and ease of use. So if you've looked at the Palace app, you already know, or if you haven't yet, it's a streamlined, user-centered design with a focus on accessibility. And I'll show you a little bit more about that when we get into the app demo itself. But really, it's meant to be easy. We're targeting a lot of times new app users, people that aren't as tech savvy, and maybe this is their first foray into trying out digital materials. So we see a lot of those people, and we've heard time and again that too many bells and whistles can kind of like be confusing. So we try to keep that in mind as we continue to iterate in the design of the app. Next up, okay, so now the talking points, those are kind of our big bullet points that I mentioned, but this is some of the things that if you're talking to patrons, you know, you have the Palace app available to anyone that comes into your library. If they want to try it and they're saying, you know, why should I do this? What is this? It can be daunting. So here are a few ways that you can quickly and easily convey what Palace is about. It can simplify a browsing and reading experience just because there's multiple collections in one app. They can find exclusive content in Palace that they may not be able to read in other places. There's always something available to read in Palace. Like I mentioned before, when they browse, there's always going to be something available. There's new to you titles in the Palace app. Palace is easy to use. There are accessibility features built in. And again, I'll show you when we take a look at the app demo, but the screen readers do work with Palace, and also assistive screen reading with TalkBack is also available. You can easily adjust your reading experience in Palace to meet your needs, like adjusting the font and the different like screen brightness and the background colors, which we'll show you. Assistive technology compatible and designed with new app users in mind. Next up, so this is kind of an overview of the virtual library card. So you can see here's a picture of what it looks like in the app for the New Mexico State Library instance. This is what all of you, your libraries or your patrons will use. They'll go into the app, they search for New Mexico State Library. They'll go ahead and click settings and the library name to bring them to that account screen. And they can self-serve and create a card in the app. There's that button there you'll see. Click create card. It'll pop up a form where they can make the card. They can also reset their password in the app once they have a card. And there's also the report and issue button. If they click that, that's how you get tech support for the app. So if there's trouble, report an issue, it'll automatically pop up an email on both iOS and Android devices. So to make a card, they will click on settings and then click on the library's name to get to the account screen, like I said. Once they do that, there's going to be this pop-up that says allow Palace to use your location. This is a geolocation feature. It is required only once. Basically, they need to verify that they are in the geolocated area to access collections purchased by New Mexico State Library. And that should be for New Mexico and surrounding states. So you can say allow once or allow using the app, but you can turn that off as soon as you make the card. That's really a one-time thing just to verify where you're physically located. You'll fill out the form over in this next picture here, asking for your name, email. It'll auto-populate the state and your password you enter twice. Once you submit that, you'll get an email. So the email, speaking of the email, this is the important piece of this. And I think a lot of people sometimes forget. So they need to check their email once they create the card. So they'll get an email. It'll look kind of like this, and it'll come from noreply@palaceproject.org. Because you can see that's not like a person. Sometimes it goes to spam. So if people don't get the email, it's good to have them check their spam box to make sure it's not there. Basically, there's this link. So you can kind of see here, please verify your email address by clicking this link. Once they do that, the card's active, and then they don't really have to do anything else except return to the app and log in. The email will send the barcode. So you can see here, your library barcode number is this number here. And then the password or PIN is the number, or the password or PIN they set on the form back here. So you can see, you kind of set that, the user chooses that, and then they'll be able to log in with that information. And if they forget, I guess I should go back again one more time. They can also click forgot your password if they forgot what they said, but hopefully it's something that they're going to remember. So that's how you kind of set that up. Once they verified, they go back to the app, they log in with the barcode and the password or PIN. Then from there, they can start checking out. There's ebooks and audiobooks available. And it's pretty much that easy. If they need help, if they're stuck, they can also click that report a problem button. And either someone from New Mexico State Library or someone from our team can also reset the account on the back end or help troubleshoot with any other issues. Okay, next up, available content. So once you have the card and you and your patrons can access the content that's purchased for you so kindly by New Mexico State Library. So there's lots of different stuff there. There's BiblioBoard simultaneous perpetual use titles. There's Pals Marketplace popular fiction and nonfiction titles. There are materials available both in ebook and audiobook format. And we've made a few curated lanes that just kind of gather up themed kind of collections. There's a Southwest focused content lane, Native American and Indigenous book list. There's content in both English and Spanish, and there's content available for Juve, YA, and adults. So here's just kind of an example of what this looks like. These horizontal categories or carousels are what I'm calling lanes. So you build those on the back end, and this is how you can feature all these different types of content. So that's just to show you what that looks like. And now I'm going to go ahead and do a demo of the app. But before I do, let me pop into the chat here real quick to see. Oh, yes, someone is just asking if we will share the slides. And yes, I will email. I'll share it with Kate from the State Library, and we'll also send it to anyone that registered for the Zoom presentation. All right, so bear with me one sec. Now I got to share my phone. Here we go, share. Now I'm going to share here. So here we go. Oh yeah, here we go. So hopefully now we can see my phone here.
You are all set, Tara.
Thank you, Jill. Okay, so to get started here, so it said briefly on the slide, but I'll reiterate here that the app is available right now on iOS and Android phones and tablets. It's for Apple iOS phones and tablets running available for Apple and iOS phones and tablets running iOS 15 plus. That's what we test on. It is available for, older versions and older devices, but they're developing and testing on the newest versions -2. So just keep that in mind. If you have a very old device, it may not have full functionality, but there is a lot of support for various versions. This is just like where we focus our new development. And then for Android, it's available on Android phones and tablets running Android 7 plus. And it's available for free to download today. And once you download it, you'll search for New Mexico State Library. And then in the app, you'll see this is what it looks like. I'm on an iPhone, so that's what you're seeing here. In Android, it looks basically the same. It's a little bit different layout, but it's basically the same. Okay, so as we look first, up at the top where it says New Mexico State Library, that's the logo. That's a link also. If you click that, it'll bring you to their website. That's how that works there. It's also persistent, so as you scroll, you can still see the logos there at the top, just so patrons know they're in the right place. Above that, across the top, you can see it's sorted to all, but say you are an ebook lover, audiobook lover only, you can select one of those. That will re-filter the catalog. So I selected audiobooks. Now you can see that's highlighted on the right there. And now all of my results in the browse view are just going to be audiobooks. So I'll go ahead and go back to all just to show you. So then as we scroll, you'll see the lanes. So first, these are the custom lanes. So for example, New Mexico Stories, that's a custom lane. If you click on that lane, then you can scroll in to see more. And then these are all the items available in there. If you want more information about a book, you just click on the book name, and this will bring you to the book details page. You can see that this book is available to borrow. There's like the little banner there that says that, and you see it says get. So if you click that get button, that's what goes ahead and checks out the item to you. So it'll download, now it's ready to read. And then you have the updated message there, the book's ready to read, it'll expire in 20 days. So it'll have a countdown. Basically, it's 21-day checkout. It's counting today. So after today, 20 more days. So it will count you down to when it's due. So if you want to read it, you can just click read. That will open up the reader here in the app for you. So then you just, swipe through to read. As you're reading, if you tap in the middle, you'll see it'll bring down that menu at the top here with a few things. There's the magnifying glass, so you can search within this book. I think it was like about ghosts, right? So if I search for ghosts, now you can see it's all highlighted throughout the book for, that term. Next to that is the little hamburger. If you click that, that's going to be your table of contents. So if you're looking for something specific, say I'm looking for Santa Fe County, you could click on that from here. You can also look for your bookmarks. So they'll be here under this tab. So say here over on the right, if I click that, that sets a bookmark. So now if I go back in here, you'll see the bookmark is here. So then I can click on it to go back. To remove a bookmark, you just click that bookmark again, and then that'll remove it. And then there's the small t, large T of menu item here. This is kind of your accessibility options within the app. So you'll see a few things here. First, this top row, this is the different font type, including serif, sans serif, and then this is open dyslexic. That's what this one is. So it looks a little bit different, but that is, available to people that feel like this helps them read. So it is a popular option. That's one of the options, but, it doesn't have to be used, Then there are the screen background colors. So you can see here, if you prefer the kind of sepia colored background, there's that. There's also the kind of dark mode for reading with that, the dark background, or just the regular plain white background. So that's how you change that. Then there is the font size. So say you want to increase the font size, see that here. You can click on the small a to make it smaller or the large A to make it larger, and you can continually click. So if you really want to get crazy, now you can see the font is very, very large. So that's basically how you control that with big A, small a. Then the brightness slider is here. It looks like you can't really tell on the screen share here, but basically that's how you're adjusting screen brightness within the reader. All right, so that's how that works. And you can also return the book from the screen. So say you finished it early, you can go ahead and click return. It'll pop up to verify you really do want to return it, was an accident. And you can return early, or if you don't do that, it will automatically return at the end of its checkout period. You can also see if you scroll down, if the author has more books available by them, you'll see it at the bottom there. So Donna here has another book on New Mexico wine. So you can click on that to go to that related item because, in theory, it could be something that this person is interested in because it's related. And there's also the view sample. If that's available, they can pop in to see that. All right, I'm going to go back here. So that's kind of how that looks when you are browsing and checking out stuff. I also wanted to show you an audiobook, how that looks. So here's an audiobook here. Same kind of screen, same process to click get. And then once you have it checked out here, now you can see the same messages there. The book's ready to read, but now it's a listen button and the player is in the app. So here's this. It'll start auto playing here, but just a few things to point out. So there's the 30-second back button, 30-second fast forward at the top right. Again, this is the same as the book where basically the chapters are all here and you can see it's kind of downloading all the chapters. And then the bookmarks. So again, if you bookmark it, those bookmarks will show up here. You can also kind of drag the player, the time thing back and forth. If you missed something and you didn't want to do the 30-second button, that's slidable. Then at the bottom, starting with the 1.0x, that's the speed timer. So you can go ahead and change the playback speed if you, like to do a 2-time listen, or if you like to go a little slower. There is the screen mirroring on Apple. That's what the little Apple share thing is. This is the sleep timer. So if you like to listen, at night when you're falling asleep, you can do that. And again, the little bookmark icon here. You can add a bookmark that way to make it show up over here. You can also delete from here on iOS. So you're all done with that. So that's what the audiobook player looks like. Again, you'll see, so once you check out items, the next thing I'll mention is it will show up at the bottom on the My Books tab. Everything that's checked out will be here too. And then underneath the read, you'll see there's a little 20D, and that's the same as like popping in to see the book is going to expire in 20 days. That has the little countdown as well. So you know I've got 20 days left to read these books or listen to these. And you can return from either this screen or you can click into the book to click return. So that's how that works there. So anything you've checked out will be here. The next tab over is reservations. So if you place something on hold, it will show up here on this tab, and then you have to enable notifications. So when you install the app, it'll ask you, will you allow notifications? If you do, you'll get a message, a push notification when either your holds are ready or if something's about to come due. So all of the holds will be here. And then when you come back here, you can also see, it'll tell you like how much time you have left on your loans that are checked out. And then I'm going to go over to the settings tab. So here, any library that you have configured will show up here. If you click on the library's name, you'll see this is the login screen. So the library card number and the PIN are here. There's also the sync bookmarks toggled on. That's this little green one here. So if you're going to read between devices, say you have an iPhone and an iPad and you listen between them, you just want to make sure you enable that sync bookmarks toggle on both devices so then you can move between them as you're listening or reading. There's the report an issue. So you see if you click that, it'll pop up and it will have an email ready for you to fill out to report your issue. Okay, so let me see. I also wanted to show you, oh, here. So in the top right, this is the search. So we kind of looked at browsing, but say you want to search, you can also search by author name. You can search by book title. You can search by subject. So let's try plants. I'm a gardener. I always look for plants. So now you can see that either it has the word plants in the title, or it's in the description, or it's in the author's name. So again, from here, then I can click in, read the description. If I want to get it, I can get it, or reserve it if it's already checked out to someone else. Scroll through the results, and that's how that works. And let me see here, anything else? Yeah, and so when you scroll down, so there's the custom lanes at the top, so New Mexico stories, all these things. And then when you get to the default lanes, this is kind of how it comes out of the box: fiction, nonfiction, young adult fiction, young adult nonfiction, children, middle grade, and world languages. There's content in your collection available in both English and Spanish. So people can search for those items, but if they're also looking to browse, if you click on world languages here, there's this Spanish lane, and you can click in and then just browse through all the different types of Spanish content available. So that's an easy way to find it all in one place if you don't know exactly what you're looking for. And then within all of these other big kind of large categories like fiction, nonfiction, if you click on any one of those, they are also configured with sublanes. So all these different kind of categories within these big topics have the breakdown of content. And basically the software uses metadata that comes from the distributor to sort them into these different categories. So people can look through to say, okay, I love whatever, food, and then click on that and then kind of narrow down, drill down to find what it is that's something that's interesting, and then click into it and check out from there. So that's kind of how the browsing works and how that's set up with the different lanes and sublanes. And always available, I'll mention, just because if you see any of this stuff that's from BiblioBoard, you can tell here under information distributed by BiblioBoard. This is all simultaneous use, perpetual use. So always available. There's no limits. There's no due dates. And also for people doing like a book club, a school project on a certain topic, anything like that, where you want multiple people to have the same title at the same time, that's a really great option because, there's no limit. So it's not just like only a handful of people can get the title. And let's see. Oh yeah, I will also mention here, forgot to show you one more thing. Get this to load. Enter. I'm trying to show you. So up at the top, you can see the sort by is set to author, but you can't change that to title or recently added. For availability, you can have available now, all, or yours to keep, and collection. Oops. Can be everything or popular books. So those are all things that can be amended and changed for you. You know, there's the defaults, and then users can change that as they see fit. All right, so that was everything I wanted to share with everyone about the app. Are there any other questions or anything you'd like to see in the app before we go back to the rest of the slides? Let's see here, I'll look in the chat. Oh, and then there's also, I'll read out a message from the chat for anyone watching the recording. And I guess you'll already know this, that the recording will be sent out to the director's listserv for anyone who missed or anyone who wants to have information on hand. And let's see, Susan asks, how new are titles? So there are, I don't know exactly the dates on the new titles. I think it's up to how often New Mexico State Library is purchasing content. But I can find out for you and let you know how new the newest content is. Yeah, I'll send that with the slides info. Okay, is there a checkout limit like in Libby? So there is no checkout limit set right now on this content. The only limit is the loan duration. So Palace Marketplace content has a 21-day loan duration on those checkouts. But there is no limit on the amount of items that are checked out for 21 days. And then for the bookshelf and biblioboard content, there are no limits at all because it's perpetual simultaneous use license. Basically, you never have to return it. So like there's no limits on that. Are there any pre-printed how-tos for patrons available? Yes. Yes, so we do have a getting started guide. We have an English version, Spanish version. We have English, Spanish, one side and the other. And then we have a few other languages on our resources page I'll share. But basically they're like a half sheet, 5-step. I'll show you here in a sec what it looks like, but absolutely we'll share those as well. And then we also have plenty of other like training videos and resources for you and your staff if you want to show other staff members how to use the app. It's like a 4 or 5 minute video that runs through like how to use the app. And were there any accessibility features besides Open Dyslexic? So yeah, it is screen reader compatible. And we also have a whole VPAT that lists all of the different accessibility features. And then changing the screen contrast and also changing the font size are available in the app. And just let me know if there's other like specific features that you're interested in that we can get for you to document. And another question, are the New Mexico academic libraries included in the list of libraries that you can configure and use the library card for? I believe it's open to anyone that is in New Mexico that has access to this. Basically, they all just search for this same library instance and make the card. But yeah, it's open to everyone. Thank you. Yep, Kate's verifying. Yes, open to all. So anyone can get in there and make a card and access the content. Okay. All right. Well, I'll stop sharing my phone. Sorry, I don't want to make you dizzy here. And then I'm going to start sharing my screen to finish our slides. Okay, so we did the demo. Here's all the info about the versions of iOS and Android. And then we also have the links to the App Store. So this is kind of promoting an ongoing support. So Jill can give you more information. And I know like if you reach out to our email address, support@thepalaceproject.org, or you can email us directly, we can send you, bookmarks, QR code cards. We can send all of this stuff to you. So we have our library resources webpage that also has text if you want to put it in like a newsletter blurb or on your website. We've got all kinds of digital assets and logos, including like social media graphics. We have training videos in English and in Spanish. We have recorded trainings and webinars, so we'll have this archive and you can see others. Printable materials and collateral. We've got plenty of external links to all different resources, instructional materials, and a feedback board. So this is something kind of new that we'll share with you too, is that, we're hearing lots of feedback from libraries using the app. And it's like, we didn't kind of know how to like manage it. And so what I did is created this feedback board where you can come in and either vote to like rank things that are already listed, or you can add something new. So if you're using the app, you feel like there's a feature missing, you can go ahead and add it there for other people to vote on. And then the top few items that are voted on, we raise those up to our engineers to work on development for our future software roadmap. So that's what that's all about. And then this is what I was talking about a minute ago here, that getting started guide for virtual library cards. So this is just like the two half sheets there together that you can print these and just put these out for people. The QR code goes to the landing page with the App Store links. And then it's just like kind of running through what I mentioned to you guys earlier. So download the app, find your library, then browse the titles. They click get or reserve to check out, how to create the virtual library card, and then how they can read or listen. So this we'll share with you too. And then here are the links. So the resources page, our support email, our YouTube channel with our training videos, and then our direct emails, Jill and myself. You can email us here whenever you'd like if you have questions. And that's it. So let me look in the chat here. Okay, so will the state library have everything through its website? There is some information on the website, but I can look at adding some of the more in-depth guides. And then Kate shared a link. Thank you very much. So let's see here. That's everything I see in the chat right now. Jill, did you want to mention anything else about marketing, outreach, promotion, anything like that?
Just that we're available here as a resource. One of the nice things about this project is it is very community driven. So we're always welcome. We're always happy to meet with people to chat through things if they have any questions. We do have that dedicated support email address for any technical issues you encounter, and are always happy to provide resources and links to resources for patrons and staff.
Yeah, I'm putting the email in the chat here too, just in case. So you can always email us there. Questions, tech support issues, or anything else. And I'm going to add the link to the feedback board here on the resources, so you can go in and vote and add for anything you see as you get in there. And looks like Jill has also shared our library resources page. I can bring that up here real quick so you can see this is what she's talking about, where there's like the text for newsletters. These are all links to training materials, recorded sessions, upcoming webinars, the feedback board, our YouTube, our community hub, which is like it's basically like a closed social network for all of our libraries. So if you want to poke around and see what other libraries are doing, it's there. The Canva templates, these are social media graphics that you can use. The digital assets, these are all things that you can put on your website, the logos or the App Store badges. And then here's the printable versions of the Getting Started guide, the English, all the different languages here. But the one I'll send you has the 2 on 1. So if that makes it like a little bit easier, this is I think the 8.5 by 11 size. So you have both options, whatever you prefer. And then we have press release templates, Instagram images. Yeah, so a lot of good stuff here for you. And plus Kate has the resources on her page, which is also in the chat here, that we can put onto the resources slide. All right, let me check here one more time. And let me go back to the resource links. So this is the resource links here for someone who said you want to see it one more time. But like I said, we'll share this out in the email to everybody. Thank you. And Kate says she'll make sure to have the resources link added to the website. Perfect. All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming today. If you don't have any more questions, I think that's everything we have for you this afternoon. But we appreciate you joining us and learning more about Palace. And yeah, please feel free to reach out if you know, as you dig in and look at the app, if something occurs to you or you need help, let us know. All righty. You're welcome, everyone. I'll stop sharing here and then I'm gonna stop recording.